Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross England here, Clear Lake Guide Service with your Clear Lake report. Wow, 3 in a row. And I believe, God, I just looked this up. It's the end of a day, you know, so let's call it March 23rd, 2023. As you can see, it's the end of the day. Never got out of these today. It was, I'm tired of this March weather, I'll be honest with you. So, it could have been much worse. But you know what? Had a client out today. Crystal did just fine. She caught some nice fish, so really happy for her. Okay, let's go over the scoop and the details. So, let's do activities first, because this is kind of a big one. This coming weekend is, I don't know, the 79th or 134th Chamber of Commerce tournament, Bruno's tournament, whatever you want, North Lake Ford tournament. It's had a lot of different names over the years, but it's basically the biggest open team tournament, 2-day event that Clear Lake has had for, it's 30 some odd years. I mean, it truly is a big event. People come from all over to fish it. There's people here, I'm sure, trying to pre-fish now. So that goes on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. They put some new rules in, and I think there's an actual cutoff of 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon that you have to be off the water. But other than that, nothing else that I really saw that was jumped out at me. You know, this event's pulled in as many as 200 boats over the years. I have no idea how many it's going to pull in this time, but I'm throwing out 100 as a good round number and saying there'll probably be 100 boats somewhere in that neighborhood. The weather is tolerable anyway for this coming weekend, so that's the big deal that's going on this weekend. It will go out of Library Park, and the weigh-in, I'm told, is also out of Library Park. So that's the big event that's going on this weekend. Water temperatures are colder than I'd like to see them. I just dropped my client off here today, and we're back in Soda Bay, and we found 50-degree water. Out in the Narrows area this morning, it was 48.5, 49. So, you know, there's probably up in some of the dirtier water up in Nice and North Lakeport, you know, outside of Rodman and whatnot. Last week, I think I saw 53 and 54 degrees. So there may still be some of that out there. Water clarity is not very good. I mean, not bad where I'm sitting right now. I could probably see 2 feet. North of here, you know, like up towards Quercus, Long Tule, that area, took a pretty good beating from the wind last night and this morning, so it was pretty bad. Kelsey Creek was, it's funny, up by our house it's running in green, but what's out at the mouth of the lake is brown. Down in the Narrows area, could probably see 2.5, 3 feet. So I think if you got down behind Rattlesnake Island in that area, you'd find some really clear water. Down in the Redbud area, down by the launch ramp area, that's pretty muddied up too. We kind of caught a break because, you know, the storm that we had the last couple days really didn't get a whole lot of more water flowing into the creeks. Water temp, the lake level was 8.3 when I looked at it this morning, and I think when I looked out over the next 8 or 9 days, the forecast only shows maybe 1.5 inches of rain total over the next 8 or 9 days. So I'm pretty comfortable unless something changes in the forecast and we're not going to hit flood stage of 9. I can see us hitting 8.5 pretty easily, and maybe even a little bit more, but I don't think we're going to get up to flood stage, so that would be a good thing. So water color, temperature, lake level, they are letting about, I think the last time I looked, 2,000 cubic feet per second out of the dam, and they've been doing that for about 4 or 5 days, so they're trying to keep up with it. You know, it's interesting getting around the lake because, as I've told you in some previous videos, there's willow trees that have popped up all over the place, and with some of the bad, you know, wind and waves and all that nonsense, the lake coming up, there's a lot of areas that some of those willows are now completely underwater. It's kind of a little dicey proposition, you know. Usually this time of year you start running down trying to find the edges of the deeper tule lines that haven't popped up yet, and it's a little bit confusing after 2 years of not being able to see anything, to all of a sudden you got water up there. And a couple times today I found myself, well, I was way inside where the tules were, so not worried about hitting anything, although the more you run around out here, there's still some big stuff floating around, so just keep that in mind. Fishing, you know what, it just depends on who you talk to. There's some guys who are doing fairly well. We heard that there's some pretty good sized fish that came in last weekend. Friday last week, Jim and I were out, and we had probably the best day that I've been a part of in a while. It wasn't a huge limit, it wasn't a huge bunch of fish, but we were right there at 10 fish for the day, which, you know, I thought was, compared to how we had been doing, I thought that was a pretty good day. And you know, they're just good average solid fish. I mean, they're 2 3/4 to 3.5 pounds for the most part. Every once in a while you sneak in a 5-pounder, like we got one that was 5.5 today. So I did monkey around a little bit throwing live bait today, and all that got me was 2 monster crappie. One of them was 3 pounds, 16 inches long, so full of eggs. We let her go so she can do her thing. So other than that, I really don't know what else is going on with the bite. I don't see a whole lot of boats out. Weather's been pretty bad. I understand that they were still catching crappie, you know, down in the Oaks area behind the Keys, but I haven't seen that. As far as launching conditions, Bob Tyler was kind enough to post yesterday afternoon that Clear Lake Oaks was in good shape. He said until the water comes over the road, they'd leave that launch ramp open, so that's good news. And so far the water's not over the road. It looked like it still had a little ways to go. So, you know, I think that's probably it. Been a weird March. You know, it's 2/3 of the way through, and it's not been a whole lot of fun. Bad weather, canceled and rescheduled trips. It's just, I'm ready for this to be over. Come on, the real spring. Can't wait to see you. And oh, by the way, just for his buddy, we ran into and said hi to Matt at the tackle shop the other day. So this is for your bud. We'll talk to you next week.